Welcome back to Alchemize Soul. I'm your host, Destiny, and this is episode 33. And before we go anywhere today, I want you to hear the title in your spirit. It is worth repeating. Because some truths don't land the first time. Some truths have to bounce off the walls of your trauma, your exhaustion, and your culture before they finally rest in your bones. Here is the truth that won't leave me alone today. In Genesis 1:27, God did something radical. He made them male and female, separate, distinct, not interchangeable, not accidentally similar. He carved two different glories out of the same divine breath. But verse 28 is where the assignment lives. Listen. God blessed them and said to them, "Be fruitful and multiply. Fill the earth and subdue it. Rule over the fish of the sea and the birds of the air and every living creature." Notice the pronoun. He didn't say rule him. He didn't say multiply her. He said let them rule. Let them have dominion. Let them multiply. From the very beginning, the architecture of Earth's dominion was a two-person team, not one alone, not one erasing the other, not one doing the job of the other. Them. So, what frustrates oneness? What steals the peace of a marriage, the sanity of a home, the rhythm of a society? It is the fight against letting them rule. Every time we, as a society, separate the sexes in a way that one does not need the other, or worse, that one can simply do the role of the other, we are not being progressive. We are not being evolved. We are operating outside of God's original plan for letting them. Let me be clear. This is not about hierarchy. This is about interdependence. When a woman has to be the man, something in her spirit begins to rust. When a man has to be the woman, something in his identity starts to blur. Not because either is weak, but because God never designed a key to also be the lock. And I need to pause here, because I know what some of you are thinking. What about the single mom? What about the widow? What about the woman whose husband left? Is she outside of God's plan? Absolutely not. And here is where I get personal. I watched her. I watched my own mother struggle. She was both dad and mom. She was both the one who braided my hair and the one who figured out how to fix the hot water heater. She was the nurturer and the provider. And I watched the fatigue live behind her eyes, like a tenant who refused to leave. I did not understand it, not really. Not until I had my own son. And I remember standing in my kitchen. My son was maybe 2. And it hit me like a freight train. That weight, the loneliness of decision making with no backup. The math of a single income. the quiet terror of being everything. I called her, tears in my eyes, voice cracking, and I said two things. Thank you. How did you do this alone? And she didn't give me a strategy. She didn't give me a time management book. She said this: I couldn't. God did. And that's the part we don't preach enough. Yes, God made them male and female to rule together. That is the design. That is the garden blueprint. But God is not cruel to the ones who find themselves alone through death, abandonment, or necessity. I know now, standing here in episode 33, that what carried her was not the absence of a man. What carried her was the presence of God, unmerited favor, supernatural strength, the kind of grace that lets a woman work 2 jobs and still read a bedtime story. The kind of strength that lets a man raise daughters alone and teach them what a good father sounds like. God gives that strength to everyone who calls on his name, not as a replacement for his original design, but as a rescue for a fallen world. So, here's a question for the Alchemize Soul listeners today. Are you fighting against letting them rule? Are you, as a woman, refusing to let the men in your life lead because you're afraid of being hurt again? Are you, as a man, refusing to let women speak into your process because you are confused control with dominion? Are you, as a society, raising boys who don't need girls and girls who don't need boys? Because oneness is not sameness. Oneness is need meeting need. It is not that a woman cannot provide. It is that she should not have to provide and nurture and protect and create all at once without a covering. And it is not that a man cannot nurture. It is that he should not have to be soft and strong and sensitive and stock without a helper. Stop fighting the them. Start honoring the design. Let's close this the way we open everything at Alchemize Soul, with breath and surrender. Father, thank you for making us male and female, not to compete, but to complete. Forgive us for the ways we have fought against letting them rule. Restore the rhythm of need and provision. And for the ones doing it alone tonight, wrap them in unmerited favor. Let them feel you as both father and mother until the help arrives. Thank you. Amen. If this episode stirred something in you, don't sit on it. Share it with one person who needs to hear that they are not falling. They are just fighting a design they didn't break. This is Alchemize Soul, episode 33. It was worth repeating, and so are you. See you next time.